welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Achiever. I know you're here today because you saw this title, Friendships That Could Keep You Broke, especially if you're going through a divorce. And so I want to talk about what that means and what that looks like. Because when you're going through a divorce, let's face it, you are in a state of confusion. You are sometimes outside of yourself. Sometimes you don't even know if you're going or coming. You are maybe sad at times, happy at times. It can be really bittersweet. You may want the divorce. You may be the person calling for the divorce, but you still feel sad for the loss of the love, for the loss of what you thought you could have. And so that's a lot to go through. And what you're doing next typically is pouring all of those feelings into your friends and family who may or may not understand because they may not have been divorced themselves, or maybe they have. But I want to talk about this crucial point of discussing your divorce with friends, all right? And we can throw family in there too, but specifically usually your friends or who you're going to vent to the most. And so I want to talk about that because this is a real thing. This is not something that, you go through a divorce, you just keep it all inside, you don't share with anybody. There's usually a few people that you just pour your heart out to. And so I have some tips for you today to help you make better decisions about what you're sharing with your friends and also about who you share it with. All right. Okay, so let's get right into this because it's really important for you to have a strong support system. So let's talk about who those people are who may give you the most support. And I can't tell you that. And there's not a specific, I can't say, oh, your mom, your dad. No, you'll have to think about who are the people in your life who will give you unbiased information, but who will still take your side, if that makes sense. Because this isn't the time that you want to ask someone, or maybe you're not even asking, maybe just sharing your feelings. But what you don't want them to do is to tell you all the things you did wrong. Now, obviously, you may have done some things, but you don't want to hear all the things you did wrong. But what you also don't want is someone who's going to completely bash the other person if you don't want them being bashed. Now, if you're having a fit and you're like, hey, you know what, this douchebag, or whatever you want to call them, maybe you want them to do that to be on your side. But what I want you to think about is, what is it that you really need from this friend or family member? And think about that for the long term. Because if you get somebody on your side and you want them to just, oh, this is the most terrible person, and they're like, yeah, girl, he's just terrible. Why would he do you like that? And you're all into that, and you have all the feels, and you can cry, and you can let it all out, and you feel like this person understands you. But then what happens if you do get back together? If he has to come around for family events or things with the children, birthdays, holidays, do you want that person, that friend, that family member to still look at them with that lens of anger and hate? Think about that. Because your family won't forgive as fast as you did. And they're still going to think this person is the most terrible person in the world. And you may have gotten over it and moving on with your life. And the moment they see them, they just think they're the most terrible person. And if you get back together, then there's that. So think about that in advance. All right. Hey, I've done it. I'm not judging you. I have done it. I have friends who they ride or dies, but they also understand that when I'm in a space of working it out with the person, or if you go through breakups, you get back together, that's the cycle of love, right? And if that happens, then they know that, hey, I'm in a space where I'm trying with this person. I just need some positive feedback. I need some positive support. So keep that in mind. All right. So also, I want to talk about the part about money and friends, because you'll have some friends or family who will want you to just take that person through the financial ringer. And I want you to think about, is that the kind of person that you want to be? Is that the person that you think should be in your marriage, right? Or in your divorce? Because bitterness will kill you worse than anything else, being bitter. You're only hurting yourself, not the other person when you're bitter. You may make it annoying for them and they may hate you more, but I doubt that's really the outcome that you're truly going for the long run. So think about that. If your friends are telling you, and I had that. Oh, and on the other side too, I'm sure, because of, I'm sure people probably said the same thing, especially since I grew my wealth. I can imagine that somebody would say, oh, well, wow, she has all that money, maybe she owes you. Or, you may say, well, he has all this money, he owes me. And I want you to just think about it. Maybe just make sure you're thinking about it rationally, in a way that, and I'm not saying you can't have your feelings, because everybody has their feelings and you should pay attention to your feelings. But I also want you to, when you do react, think about it from a logical standpoint, that you can sleep better at night later, and that you don't cause yourself some unnecessary pain. Because you will get that advice. You'll get advice to take them for everything that you can get, or you deserve it, or, well, you're not the one who caused the problem, so you shouldn't have to pay. And I'm not saying any of that's not true, but I want you to hear me clearly. You need peace. What is going to give you peace? I don't want you going through a divorce and fighting tooth and nail over things that can be replaced. Oh, I felt that. Did you feel that? It can be replaced, sis. Don't fight. Sometimes they want the fight because they're hurting. Sometimes you want the fight because you're hurting. But I want you to move past that hurt so you can heal, so that you can move forward and find your real joy, find your real mate, find your real love, find your happiness, find your healthiness, find your wealthiness. Being bitter and fighting for every little penny sometimes can do more harm than good. Sometimes you have to, my counselor says this, he says, sometimes you have to give up good to get to great. Oh, that's another good one. That feels so good. So that's something I really want you to think about. Be careful about saying too many negative things or airing too much of your dirty laundry, because again, later, you don't want that to come back up. You may not want to hear it later. So just think about that. You'll have helpful friends, you'll have unhelpful friends, but remember, they are your friends and they're there because they love you. And just express that to them, how much you support them, and that you're going through a rocky time and your emotions are going to be all over the place. And if you just need a listening ear, just say that. I just need a listening ear. If you need somebody to take your side, say, hey, I need you to take my side on this. Or if you want really some unbiased truth, tell them that too, so they know how to respond. So if this video has been helpful to you about friendships and how to navigate that process with friends and family, please do share it. Send it directly to that person that you feel needs this. And I want you to go ahead and like and subscribe. This is part of my divorce care mission work here, because there is nothing good I can say about divorce. Even being divorced myself and moving past it and finding more joy and finding more happiness. And everybody does, but there's so much pain from a divorce, especially if you have children. It's just really, really hard to say much about it, okay, in a positive sense, because it's tough. So I do want to, and I am in a better place, and you will be too. All these things come to pass, but it's just such a life-changing event. So I want you to share, subscribe, and if you're interested in my divorce care resources, some of my budgets, investing templates, emergency fund templates, all of that good stuff, definitely pick up my book, The Unlikely Achieve Her. This will help you with building that mental strength and self-motivation and perseverance that you so desperately need during this time. So go ahead and pick that up. Just check the description and leave me a comment. Which was your best tip? What did you really feel from this video? I want to know how you're feeling and how I can help you. So please, please, please leave the comment below, and I can't wait to work with you more in the Wealthy Achiever program or on some more of our divorce care video series. I'll chat with you later.